Hello friends, it's Danielle here with you today. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to show you a flip through of these 3 unembellished Christmas junk journals that are available in my Etsy shop. And these, like I mentioned, are completely unembellished. I will be sending along, I'm not going to call these a kit. These are just like little extra gifts to get you started with working in your journal, that you can go through and choose to use some things and maybe not use other things, but many of the things are items that I would or have used this year in the journals that I did embellish. So we'll get started here. This is a little golden book Frosty. There's one with a lacing card and one made from a Kordite freeze box. So we'll get into those. I'll go ahead and show you Frosty first. There are a few things I wanted to mention about Frosty. So there is a simple fabric tie. This is double-sided fabric. So I did just kind of use some pinking shears on the end and use that for simplicity. And this is a typical little golden book size, like 6 1/4 by 8, and I have a 1 3/4 spine. Again, it does have 3 signatures, looks very empty. This is how all of the journals I make start out before I start embellishing them. So even though these are unembellished, they aren't like packed full of pages because I'm offering them for sale in a way that I would anticipate them being used and chunked up, kind of like the journals that I sell that I have embellished. So hopefully that makes sense. And like I said, it does have a removable tassel with the vintage ornaments and the jingle bells and the beads. There's some little string, beaded string here, fibers and rickrack. There's, of course, the domino or the bingo coin, the beads, that kind of thing. And then the cover does show wear, and I have these book corners here that I'll mention in just a second. I do recommend that I place these. Of course, it's up to you. If you purchase this journal, you can let me know if you want them or not. But the corners are showing quite a bit of wear. But I did want to mention that the cover is, so the inside cover is, there's no markings on it or anything. And so I did leave it as is, with the option of I can either attach these if you prefer or send them along to do as I normally do, to cover the front cover to make it look a little bit more finished, and maybe add like a library card pocket, or you could add a pocket here, something like that. So I did want to leave that option open. And the reason that I would need to know that, if you want the corners placed, I would need to, and you wanted these papers, I would need to place these corners after placing the lining paper. Hopefully that makes sense. If you like the cover the way it is, I would just add some rickrack or some trim right here to kind of finish it off a little bit. So that's kind of the only one out of all of these that I really wanted to leave it a little bit customizable for if anybody wants to purchase this journal, they can decide. Just like the other ones, there are 3 paper clips. This is the one where I knew one was missing, and it was this journal. There are 3 handmade paper clips, but otherwise they are very basic and unembellished, very simple ledger paper, music paper, lots of pretty scrapbook paper, areas for writing. There is a little flap here. I left this so that if you had 1 or 2 single pages you wanted to tip in, this is a good place, this little flap is a good place to add those pages. Or if you wanted to add a greeting card or something like that. And then these pockets, I intended for these to be pockets, but if you do not want pockets here, again, I left this really customizable. You could just carefully take these out, and then you could make journaling cards with this, or pockets for other places, photo mats, whatever you can think of. This is the bottle cap charm with the jingle bell. The vintage wrapping paper and ledger paper, tea stained paper, another postulette. Paper clip, and that brings us to the end. And this is the back of that one. I don't think I mentioned, I think the copyright on this one is 1979. Yeah, it's the 13th printing, 1979. And so that is Frosty. And next I'll do the Kordite freeze box. It measures 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and the spine is about 2.5 inches. It has 4 signatures, and again, a removable charm tassel with the bingo coin and the ornament. There aren't as many things on this. There's some beads because it is a short book, so there's only so much room to add things, but there are lots of other strings. If you want to add additional things, you can. I don't think I mentioned this is also double-sided fabric, and so I did do the same thing, used some pinking shears and made a simple fabric closure. Again with the paper clips, wrapping paper backed with writing paper, another paper clip here. Kind of make this sort of quick. And then once I flip, this is the napkin, the poinsettia napkin that I used in decoupaging a lot. This is a vintage agenda book page from 1947. And different kinds of ledger. The bottle cap charm. Paper clip. Try to keep these. So this actually does have, let me see, how many pages does this have? This has 47 pages, or 94 front and back. So it does have quite a few pages. It's just very skinny because it hasn't been embellished yet. It feels so odd to show you guys these because they haven't been embellished, and usually I'm showing you journals that have been embellished. But let me take a break really quick and show you. There's some fabrics in here and trim. I'm still cleaning up and preparing these, but they'll be ready to go tonight. Kind of show you, they all won't be the same, but there'll be similar items in each. This is the one I have the most complete, so I just grabbed it. There's some playing cards. There's one of those silverware coupons that I showed in my last video. There's a handmade piece of ephemera. Some vintage seals, another handmade piece of ephemera, and again, just with those Tim Holtz tickets and a printable and some die-cut snowflakes. There's little tickets and another seal, and this one has some price tickets in it. These are authentic vintage, and then some vintage to and from. That is not vintage. I can't remember where I got that. And then another gingerbread guy with stickles and some vintage Denison labels. There's a tally. More playing cards with Santa. And a Christmas tree playing card and a she label, vintage she label. This is some just scrapbooking ephemera and a blank tag, and just a little piece of scrap of vintage wrapping paper, some recipe cards, some cut off from the scrapbook paper. There's a bridge score pad, some vintage postcards, vintage check. I gave you two, each of them will have two of these pages of saving stamps, and I just very carefully, when I was using them in collage, just very carefully peeled them off this paper. You could even heat it up a little bit and carefully peel it. And then just another one of those napkins. And to decoupage it, I just fussy cut around and then got it down to one single layer. And then I used glue stick on the first layer. And then I think I have it here, this matte gel over the top to seal it. You don't even have to do that. You can also just use the glue stick and not seal the top of it. I haven't had any issues with it coming loose on my own journals, but I'm sure you guys know how to decoupage. But if you have any questions, just let me know. So that's the little pack. Like I said, it's not really a kit. It's just some things to get you started. And so I'll flip through really quickly the lacing card journal that I made. And it has this one, the tie is wrapped around twice. If you wanted to use some of this fabric to make fabric ruffles or something, you could also do that. And it is a functional lacing card. So I did create the cover so that I could punch the holes and lace the string through. So if you wanted to use this as a lacing card, you can. I just single tied this here. You just untie it, and then it's a functional lacing card. So it is somewhat flexible but pretty sturdy. There's this one measures 8 by 6 1/4 and has a 1-inch spine with 2 signatures. It has 36 pages, or 72 front and back. Again, this one has a different tassel. So this one I put onto a paper clip because it has a smaller spine. And it has beads and jingle bells and a vintage ornament and the domino. Why do I keep saying domino? Bingo. Bingo coin. And there's a vintage button on this one. What else is on here? There's a little Christmas bulb charm. So that's a fun one. And then again, just completely unembellished. There will be 3 paper clips and the vintage wrapping paper and ledger paper and scrapbook paper and post-it-let, music paper. This is the greeting card. It's completely blank slate for you to do whatever you want with. Another paper clip, more vintage wrapping paper backed, and another greeting card. The more ledger paper. This is the bottle cap charm. I did run out of the little jingle bells, so I put a candy cane charm on this one. And one of the other ones, I think it was the Kordite freeze box, has the not a jingle bell but a candy cane. This is some Christmas stationery. I left on all the journals and all the signatures, I left the strings long in case you want to add some buttons or beads. And that is the end of the lacing card, and these are the unembellished journals. If I have time to do some more Christmas journals this year, I'm thinking single signature, slightly embellished, minimally embellished maybe. But I honestly don't know if I'm going to have time. I just have to kind of see how this weekend goes and where we're at. So I appreciate you guys watching and all of my new subscribers and likes and comments, and I love interacting with you guys. I don't think I would keep doing this if I didn't get to interact with a lot of you and talk to you in the comments and kind of be crafty virtual friends. So anyway, I hope you're all having a great holiday season. We're only about 2 weeks out from Christmas, which is crazy. But I will be back. If I don't do any more journals to add to my shop, I'll be back to show my personal Christmas journal and many more videos in the future. I'll see you next time. Bye.